The day the Empire's fleet arrived in Earth's orbit was like any other on the surface. People went about their lives, blissfully unaware of the silent behemoths that hung above their world. The Galactic Empire, a sprawling coalition of thousands of star systems, had turned its gaze to Earth. To them, it was just another primitive world ripe for conquest, a stepping stone to secure their dominance over this galactic sector. But Earth was far from defenseless. The initial broadcast from the Empire was confident, almost patronizing. A towering alien figure appeared on every screen on the planet, its silver armor gleaming, and its voice laced with authority. It identified itself as Commander Rax of the Imperial Vanguard. "People of Earth," it began, "you have been chosen to join the illustrious Galactic Empire. Resistance is futile, and compliance will ensure your survival. You have one planetary rotation to surrender." The message caused global panic. News channels speculated wildly, showing the massive ships looming above. Governments scrambled to communicate with one another, while militaries prepared for the worst. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was one group that had been preparing for a moment like this for decades: the United Earth Defense Coalition. In a secret bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, representatives from Earth's most powerful nations gathered. General Sophia Malik, a sharp-eyed leader with years of experience in orbital defense strategies, took charge. "We knew we weren't alone in the universe," she said, addressing the room. "But we also knew this day would come. The Empire thinks we're weak, disorganized. Let's show them how wrong they are." Earth's response was swift. Using advanced quantum communication systems, the Coalition sent a single, unmistakable warning back to the Empire. The message, transmitted directly to the command ship, was simple: Earth does not kneel. The Galactic Council, accustomed to unconditional surrenders, was taken aback by the defiance. Commander Rax smirked as he received the reply. "Primitive bravado," he muttered. "Prepare the orbital disruptors. Let them witness the folly of resistance." The first strike came within hours. The Empire fired a warning shot, a beam of light intended to vaporize a small island as a demonstration of power. But as the beam descended, Earth's hidden orbital defense grid sprang to life. Massive satellites, camouflaged against the blackness of space, activated their energy shields, dispersing the beam harmlessly into the atmosphere. The island below remained untouched, and the people cheered as they realized Earth had fought back. The Empire's fleet quickly shifted to an all-out assault. Fighters poured from the capital ships, hurtling toward Earth's surface. Yet Earth's military was ready. Ground-based railguns, hidden missile silos, and stealth drones launched into the skies, creating a web of destruction. Alien ships exploded one after another as humanity's unorthodox tactics and ingenuity outmaneuvered the Empire's superior numbers. What the Empire hadn't anticipated was humanity's ability to adapt. Earth's engineers repurposed captured alien tech in real time, using it to enhance their defenses. Scientists worked tirelessly, deciphering the Empire's communication frequencies and turning their own drones against them. Earth wasn't just resisting, it was evolving. Meanwhile, Commander Rax grew increasingly frustrated. Reports of defeat and destruction poured in from across the fleet. "How is this possible?" he roared. "These humans are supposed to be inferior." On the ground, humanity's resolve only deepened. Civilians joined the effort, building barricades, assisting with supplies, and providing critical support to the front lines. Stories of heroism spread like wildfire. A pilot who single-handedly took down an Imperial cruiser. A scientist who created an EMP device from household electronics to disable an entire squadron of alien drones. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was thriving under pressure. As the days turned into weeks, the Empire's forces were stretched thin. Supply lines were cut off by Earth's coordinated attacks. Imperial morale plummeted as they realized this primitive planet was anything but. Earth's leaders, meanwhile, issued a second message to the Empire. "Leave now, or face total annihilation." Commander Rax, desperate to salvage his reputation, ordered one final, desperate attack. An orbital bombardment designed to raze entire continents. But as the fleet prepared to fire, Earth's ace in the hole was revealed. A prototype weapon, hidden deep beneath the surface, was activated. The Zeus Array, a network of satellites capable of harnessing the power of the sun, unleashed a concentrated beam of energy that tore through the Empire's flagship. The destruction was catastrophic, and the remaining Imperial ships fled in disarray. The battle was over, but the message was clear. Earth was no longer a backwater planet to be conquered. It was a force to be reckoned with. In the aftermath, humanity celebrated its victory but remained vigilant. The Galactic Empire would undoubtedly regroup, but so would Earth. United and determined, humanity had proven that even against overwhelming odds, it could stand firm. And somewhere in the vastness of space, as the surviving Imperial ships retreated, the Galactic Council convened in shock and disbelief. They had underestimated Earth, and it had cost them dearly. One of the council members, an elder being with centuries of experience, summed it up gravely. "We made a mistake thinking Earth was weak. The question now is what will they do next?" The Galactic Council's chambers buzzed with tension. Representatives of countless species, each draped in their ceremonial garments, argued fiercely about the implications of their failed conquest. The human resistance had been unprecedented, not because the Empire hadn't faced rebellions before, but because Earth had done what no other subjugated planet had managed. It had won decisively. Elder Zinvar, a stoic figure from the Valerith race, stood at the center of the chamber. His voice, amplified by the crystalline acoustics of the hall, cut through the noise. This council must acknowledge a singular truth. We have underestimated the humans. Their ingenuity, their adaptability, and their unyielding spirit pose a threat far greater than we anticipated. A murmur rippled through the chamber. For millennia, the Galactic Council had maintained control over the galaxy through overwhelming force and psychological dominance. No species had dared defy them for long. But now, Earth had done more than defy. They had humiliated the Empire. Back on Earth, the victory was bittersweet. Though humanity had triumphed, the scars of the battle were visible everywhere. Cities bore the marks of orbital strikes that had slipped past defenses. Families mourned the loss of loved ones. Yet amidst the rubble, humanity found unity like never before. Governments that had once been divided by petty rivalries now worked together seamlessly. The United Earth Defense Coalition evolved into the United Earth Alliance, a global organization tasked with preparing for the inevitable return of the Empire. Scientists, engineers, and strategists worked tirelessly reverse engineering captured Imperial technology. The breakthroughs were staggering. Humanity leapt decades, if not centuries ahead in technological advancement. Fusion reactors became commonplace, providing clean and unlimited energy. Medical technology adapted from alien systems eradicated previously incurable diseases. But the most significant development came from a piece of tech recovered from the wreckage of the Empire's flagship, a star drive capable of faster-than-light travel. Within months, humanity launched its first interstellar vessel, the Dauntless. Unlike the exploratory missions of old, this ship was built for both exploration and defense. Its hull gleamed with reinforced alloys, its weapons systems bristling with power. The mission was clear: take humanity's first steps into the galaxy, not as passive observers, but as active participants. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council scrambled to devise a response. The loss of face was catastrophic. Factions within the Council argued for a second invasion, while others warned of the dangers of provoking humanity further. "We cannot afford another failure," warned an insectoid delegate from the Zithran. "If we attack again and lose, the entire galaxy will see us as weak. They will rise against us." The Council's deliberations dragged on, but Earth was not idle. Probes and reconnaissance ships were sent into nearby star systems. What they found was shocking. Remnants of other species, conquered and subjugated by the Empire, some on the brink of extinction. The horrors of Imperial rule became clear, and humanity made a decision that would shape the future of the galaxy. They would not wait for the Empire to strike again. Instead, they would take the fight to them. Earth's fleet grew rapidly. The Dauntless was soon joined by sister ships, the Resolute, the Vanguard, and the Odyssey. Each carried not only advanced weaponry but also diplomats and scientists. Humanity's approach was twofold: liberate the oppressed and build alliances with those who had suffered under the Empire's rule. The first liberation mission took place on a planet called Valora. a lush world whose inhabitants, the Valoran, had been enslaved for generations. When the human fleet arrived, they were met with resistance, not from the Valoran, but from the Imperial garrison stationed there. The battle was fierce, but Earth's forces prevailed. When the Valoran saw the humans raising their flag in victory, they wept. For the first time in centuries, they were free. News of Earth's actions spread like wildfire. Species that had long been crushed under the Empire's heel began to hope. Delegates from once conquered worlds sought out the humans, offering alliances, technology, and soldiers for the cause. Humanity's coalition grew, a patchwork of species united by a common goal: to end the Empire's tyranny. Back in the Galactic Council, panic began to set in. Reports of defections and uprisings poured in from the outer systems. The Council's authority was crumbling, and whispers of rebellion even within their core territories could no longer be ignored. The Council called an emergency session, and for the first time in centuries, they extended an olive branch to a former enemy. They sent a diplomatic envoy to Earth. The envoy, a towering figure cloaked in the regalia of the Council, arrived in Earth's orbit under heavy guard. They were escorted to the Alliance's headquarters, where they were met by President Sophia Malik and other leaders of the United Earth Alliance. The room was tense as the envoy began to speak. The Galactic Council recognizes the strength and resolve of humanity, the envoy said, their voice reverberating through the chamber. We propose a truce, an end to hostilities. In exchange, we offer Earth a seat on the Council. The offer was tempting, but Earth's leaders knew better than to trust it blindly. After hours of deliberation, President Malik responded, "We will accept peace, but not as subordinates. The Council must agree to abolish its policy of conquest and recognize the sovereignty of all species. Only then will we consider joining your ranks." The envoy hesitated, but ultimately relayed the message back to the Council. The response would take time, but Earth was prepared. If peace could not be achieved on fair terms, humanity would continue its mission to dismantle the Empire, one liberated world at a time. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy was changing. Humanity, once seen as a backwater species, had become a beacon of hope. The Empire had awakened a force it could not control, and the Galactic Council faced an uncertain future. The question was no longer whether Earth could survive. It was whether the galaxy could survive the changes Earth was bringing. As the days passed, the tension between the Galactic Council and Earth continued to mount. The offer of a truce, though tempting, was seen by many within Earth's leadership as little more than a ploy. The Empire, after all, had a history of broken promises and deceit. However, Earth had no intention of rushing into a decision. They would use the time to strengthen their position, fortify their alliances, and prepare for whatever came next. On the surface of Earth, the atmosphere was one of cautious optimism. President Sophia Malik addressed the people, her voice filled with determination. This is not just a victory for Earth, but for every species that has suffered under the Empire's rule. Our victory is their victory. Our fight is their fight. As humanity's coalition expanded, the once fragmented resistance movements across the galaxy began to coalesce into a unified force. Planets that had been silent for years, too afraid to act, were now speaking out. The Valoran, who had been freed by Earth, quickly mobilized their people to assist in the liberation of neighboring worlds. The Kaldorians, a race of peaceful scholars, provided intelligence networks and advanced communication technologies that proved invaluable in coordinating strikes against imperial strongholds. However, not all species welcomed humanity's growing influence. Some, who had long prospered under the Empire's rule, viewed the changes with suspicion and fear. The Kryn, a militaristic species from the Outer Rim, had been allies of the Empire for centuries and were unwilling to lose their privileged position. They rallied their forces, positioning themselves as the last defenders of the old galactic order. The diplomatic envoy from the Galactic Council, though initially seen as a gesture of weakness, had not been entirely in vain. While some council members still pushed for open warfare, others saw the growing strength of Earth's coalition as a force they could no longer ignore. The offer of a seat on the Galactic Council remained on the table, but the terms were clear. Humanity would not join the Council unless substantial reforms were made, starting with the dissolution of the Empire's system of conquest. As Earth continued to make headway, the response from the Empire grew more aggressive. Commander Rax, who had been humiliated in the first conflict, was reassigned to a new fleet and given orders to retake Earth and crush the rebellion once and for all. His fleet, now bolstered by the remnants of the Imperial Guard, was the largest ever assembled. With him, he brought the full might of the Empire's military technology, including the infamous Dreadnought-class warships, massive behemoths capable of leveling entire planets with their concentrated energy blasts. The countdown to a new confrontation began, and this time, there would be no warning. Earth's military leaders, aware of the incoming storm, prepared for the worst. The Dauntless and its sister ships were fully armed, but they knew that this battle would be different. The Empire had underestimated humanity once before, but they would not make that mistake again. President Malik held a secret meeting with her most trusted generals and advisors. "We've prepared for this moment," she said, her voice steady and resolute. "This time, we fight on our terms. We don't just defend our world. We fight to liberate every world the Empire has oppressed." The United Earth Alliance had come a long way from its origins as a fractured coalition of nations. Now, it was a united force, bound by a common cause and driven by the collective will to prevent the galactic domination the Empire sought. But Earth's victory had always come at a cost. The Galactic War was far from over, and the stakes had never been higher. With the battle looming, Commander Rax's fleet entered the solar system, their ships forming a menacing formation above Earth. This time, they weren't here to threaten. They were here to conquer. As the first wave of the Imperial fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, a dazzling array of defense systems activated. Earth's orbital shields, now stronger than ever, flared to life, repelling the first barrage of enemy fire. But Earth's leaders knew that shields alone wouldn't win this war. The Zeus Array, the advanced weapon that had once devastated the Empire's flagship, was ready for use once more, but this time, the humans had another card to play. The Kaldorians, with their vast network of spies and scientists, had discovered a hidden flaw in the Empire's fleet. A single, well-placed strike could cripple the entire fleet's control systems, leaving them vulnerable to Earth's counterattack. Earth's best pilots and engineers worked tirelessly to fine-tune their weapons, calibrating them to deliver the perfect blow. The battle raged on as the two fleets clashed in the skies above Earth. Explosions lit up the atmosphere as Imperial ships were torn apart by Earth's relentless counterattacks. Yet Commander Rax remained confident, believing that sheer firepower would ultimately win the day. That was until Earth's ace in the hole was revealed. A sleek, advanced ship, a modified Dauntless-class vessel known as the Revenant, emerged from Earth's shadow. Its hull shimmered with an otherworldly energy, and its weapons were primed for the kill. Led by Captain Eric Hale, a seasoned Earth commander, the Revenant and its fleet of smaller fighter crafts executed a series of perfect strikes, breaching the Imperial fleet's defenses. With devastating precision, the Revenant targeted the central command ship in Commander Rax's fleet, utilizing the Kaldorian-designed weapon systems to disrupt the fleet's communication and control networks. The Imperial fleet, once unstoppable, faltered as their ships lost coordination and fell into disarray. In the midst of the chaos, the surviving Imperial ships began retreating. Commander Rax, his pride shattered, ordered a full withdrawal, but the damage was done. Earth's forces had delivered a crushing blow to the Empire, and the balance of power in the galaxy had irrevocably shifted. As the smoke cleared and the surviving Imperial forces limped back to the edges of the solar system, Earth stood victorious once more. The victory was not just military, it was symbolic. The Galactic Council had been forced to recognize the strength and determination of humanity. Earth was no longer a fringe planet. It was a force capable of shaping the future of the galaxy. Back on Earth, President Sophia Malik addressed the people, her voice echoing across the planet. "Today, we have not only defended our home, but we have shown the galaxy that humanity will not bow. The Empire's reign is over, and the future belongs to all who seek peace, freedom, and equality." The battle for the galaxy had only just begun, but humanity was ready. No longer would they stand in the shadow of empires. They had carved their place in the stars, and they would not let anyone take it from them. The aftermath of Earth's victory over the Galactic Empire was nothing short of transformative. The once divided nations of Earth, now unified under the banner of the United Earth Alliance, began to take on a new role in galactic politics. With their enemies retreating, humanity had not only secured their own survival but also paved the way for a future in which they could stand as equals, or even leaders, on the galactic stage. Despite their success, the challenges ahead were far from over. Commander Rax's retreating fleet had left a dark mark on the galaxy, and the Empire, though fractured, still controlled vast swathes of territory. The Galactic Council, despite the concessions made after Earth's victories, was still deeply divided. Some factions were bent on continuing the fight against humanity, unwilling to accept a new power rising from the ashes of the old order. Others, more pragmatic, saw humanity's strength as an undeniable force that needed to be recognized and engaged with. In the weeks following the battle, President Sophia Malik convened with the leaders of the United Earth Alliance and their new allies. The Kaldorians, the Valoran, and several other species that had suffered under the Empire's reign had pledged their support, offering technology, resources, and even military assistance for the reconstruction of the galaxy. Yet despite these alliances, the question remained: how could humanity truly guarantee peace in the galaxy? "We've shown the Empire that Earth will not be conquered," Malik said in a solemn address to the Earth Alliance Council. "But we must now focus on what comes next. We have enemies beyond the remnants of the Empire, systems that remain loyal to the old order, species that believe their prosperity is tied to the Empire's rule." Her words were met with murmurs of agreement. The political landscape was shifting, but it was far from stable. Humanity's position in the galaxy was still precarious, especially as some of the more aggressive factions within the Galactic Council began to rally their forces. One such faction was led by High Commander Tarak, a ruthless leader from the outer systems who had made a name for himself in the Empire's military ranks. Now, with the Empire in disarray, he had declared himself the ruler of the Outer Rim and began consolidating power with an iron fist. His forces had been slowly gathering in the shadows, amassing weapons and resources with the goal of reuniting the galaxy under his rule. Tarak's forces began launching calculated raids on neutral and independent worlds, claiming them in the name of a new order that would rival the Galactic Empire's former might. His propaganda spread across the stars, speaking of restoring peace and stability by force, just as the Empire had once done, only stronger and more efficient. "Peace through strength," Tarak proclaimed during a broadcast that reached Earth. "Humanity may have defied the Empire, but it will not escape the inevitable truth. The galaxy must be united under one banner. Those who oppose this unity will be crushed." His message was clear. Humanity's victory had ignited a flame of defiance in the galaxy, but the cost would soon come due. Earth was not the only power rising from the ashes of the Empire. There were others who saw the turmoil as an opportunity to seize control, to bend the galaxy to their will. And Tarak was determined to ensure that humanity would not stand in his way. In response to this growing threat, President Malik and her council called for a meeting with the leaders of the Galactic Coalition. They recognized that they could not defeat Tarak alone, not without risking the fragile peace they had worked so hard to achieve. The Kaldorians, with their intelligence capabilities, were tasked with uncovering Tarak's plans, while the Valoran offered to lead a diplomatic mission to speak with the neutral systems and prevent them from falling under Tarak's influence. But the task at hand was not an easy one. Commander Rax, though defeated, had warned that there were still remnants of the Empire loyal to their cause. The silent war, the struggle for the hearts and minds of the galaxy's independent systems, was underway. The war for influence, for alliances, was as fierce as any battle fought in the skies. Meanwhile, far beyond the borders of Earth's newly established alliances, a hidden threat was slowly rising. A secret faction within the Empire had survived in the shadows. Known only as the Eclipse, they had been waiting for the right moment to strike. The Eclipse's members were former Imperial officers, high-ranking scientists, and covert operatives who had gone into hiding after the Empire's collapse. They had no interest in power for its own sake. Instead, they sought to control the technology that had made the Empire a threat in the first place. Through careful manipulation and a network of spies, the Eclipse had begun to destabilize the galaxy once again. They didn't need to take over, just to sow division. Their goal was to break the alliances that had formed, to turn humanity's greatest allies against them and prevent any lasting peace. To them, peace was weakness, and their brand of order would require chaos to thrive. Back on Earth, the political landscape was increasingly complex. Earth's allies in the Galactic Coalition argued fiercely among themselves, each vying for a stronger position as the future of the galaxy unfolded. Earth itself was torn between its desire to maintain peace and its need to secure its future as a galactic power. Humanity had never been one to simply play the role of passive observer. President Malik knew the stakes were higher than ever. The universe was changing, and Earth was at the forefront of this change, whether they were prepared for it or not. The war, it seemed, was not over. With the growing threats of both Terrak and the Eclipse, Malik made a bold decision. She called for the creation of a new, unified fleet, one that would not only defend Earth and its allies, but would take the fight directly to the heart of the Empire's former territories. The fleet would carry Earth's message of hope and freedom, but it would also serve as a deterrent to any who thought to challenge humanity's newfound strength. "Let the galaxy see what happens when Earth stands united," President Malik said, rallying her people once more. "Let them know that we are not just a single world among many. We are humanity. We are the future." And so, the stage was set for the next chapter in the galactic struggle. Earth had begun its journey not only as a survivor, but as a force for change. But whether that change would lead to peace or another war, only time would tell. The new fleet, the Stellar Dawn, was humanity's answer to the growing threats of the galaxy. Crafted with the best technology Earth and its allies could offer, it was the most advanced fleet ever assembled, its capabilities far surpassing anything the Empire had ever fielded. Armed with weaponry designed not only for combat but also for the protection of civilian life, the Stellar Dawn symbolized Earth's commitment to a peaceful galaxy, but one prepared to defend itself at any cost. President Sophia Malik addressed the fleet's newly formed command, her voice steady but heavy with the weight of responsibility. "We stand at the crossroads of history. Our victory against the Empire was not an end. It was the beginning. The galaxy will test us, and we must be ready. We do not seek war, but we will not shy away from it." The crew of the Stellar Dawn understood what was at stake. Captains, soldiers, engineers, and diplomats, human and alien alike, stood together, united by a common goal: to prevent the galaxy from falling into the chaos and destruction that had defined the Empire's rule. But even as they prepared for their mission, darker forces stirred in the background. Terrak, still rallying his forces in the Outer Rim, began making strategic advances. He captured neutral systems, claiming them for his new Galactic Empire. His followers, drawn to his promises of a new order of strength and unity, flooded his ranks. It seemed as though his ambitions were growing stronger by the day, and his propaganda painted humanity as the obstacle to true galactic peace. Meanwhile, the Eclipse, the secret faction from the old Empire, quietly pulled the strings behind the scenes. Their shadowy network had infiltrated multiple factions, sowing distrust and discord wherever they could. As the Eclipse tightened its grip on the galactic underworld, whispers began to spread about a new weapon, one powerful enough to destroy entire fleets with a single shot. Rumors suggested it was buried deep within the remnants of the Empire, hidden from prying eyes. With these threats looming, the Stellar Dawn was dispatched on its first mission: to engage Terrak's forces in the Outer Rim and halt his campaign of expansion. Earth's fleet would prove that humanity was not a passive participant in galactic events, but an active force in shaping the future. As the fleet entered the Outer Rim, the first signs of conflict appeared. Terrak's ships, vast and imposing, were already in position, their cannons trained on a peaceful system that had refused to join his cause. The tension in the air was palpable. The Stellar Dawn was ready, but this would be their first true test in battle. The confrontation was brutal. The Stellar Dawn's advanced shields held firm against the initial barrage of fire from Terrak's fleet, and the Earth ships countered with swift, precise strikes. But Terrak's forces were formidable, and the battle quickly escalated. Ships were torn apart, debris littered the battlefield, and the once calm stars of the Outer Rim became a fiery canvas of destruction. Commander Eric Hale, captain of the Revenant, Earth's most advanced warship, led the charge. His fleet, alongside the Valoran and Keldorian fighters, moved like a well-oiled machine. Despite the odds, they held their ground, pushing Terrak's forces back, one strike at a time. Yet, the commander knew this was only the beginning. Terrak wouldn't stop until the galaxy bowed to him. As the battle raged, an unexpected signal came through the Stellar Dawn's communication systems. It was a message from an unknown source, the Eclipse. The message was cryptic, but the meaning was clear. Terrak had not only gathered power in the Outer Rim, but he was also in possession of the weapon that could end the war in a single stroke. If Earth and its allies didn't act quickly, they would face the annihilation of their fleets. The revelation sent a shockwave through the fleet. Malik, Hale, and the other commanders knew they had to make a decision. With the situation growing more dire, they would have to abandon the battle for now and strike at the heart of the galaxy, Terrak's base, where the weapon was rumored to be hidden. The next few days were a blur of planning and preparation. Every inch of Earth's military power was concentrated into a coordinated strike force. They couldn't afford to fail. The fleet moved swiftly through the galactic core, and as they approached Terrak's stronghold, the scale of the conflict became apparent. The base was heavily fortified, surrounded by a network of Imperial remnants and mercenary fleets. They were prepared for a siege. This would be a battle unlike any other. Infiltrating the base would require precision and skill, but humanity had learned much in their battles with the Empire. The Stellar Dawn and its accompanying ships executed a daring plan to breach the stronghold's defenses. The fleet moved in under the cover of deep space, using their knowledge of enemy tactics to get in undetected. The battle that followed was intense. Earth's fleet, fighting in close quarters, tore through Terrak's defenses, but not without cost. Ships were damaged, and casualties were sustained, but the determination to end Terrak's reign was stronger than ever. At the heart of the stronghold, Malik, Hale, and their team of special operatives fought their way to the weapon, a device unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Towering, menacing, and pulsating with dark energy, the weapon was capable of wiping out entire fleets with a single discharge. Yet as they prepared to destroy it, a shocking truth came to light. The Eclipse had been manipulating both sides, using Terrak as a pawn to secure the weapon's activation. With seconds to spare, the team disabled the weapon, and the stronghold began to collapse. Terrak, realizing his plans had been sabotaged, tried to flee but was cornered by Malik herself. "You've lost," she told him, her voice cold but resolute. "The galaxy will not be ruled by fear anymore." In the final moments, as Terrak was taken into custody, the Eclipse's presence in the galaxy was exposed. The secret faction had played its hand, but it had failed. Earth's message rang clear across the galaxy. No one would ever rule through terror again. The battle had been won, but the war for peace was far from over. Humanity had proven itself as a force to be reckoned with, but it had also become a beacon of hope for a galaxy once broken by tyranny. With Earth's leadership, a new era of peace and prosperity was on the horizon. The Stellar Dawn returned to Earth, its mission accomplished. Yet, as humanity stood on the precipice of a new age, the stars whispered of challenges still to come. But Earth, once fractured and divided, now stood united. An unwavering force for good, ready to shape the future of the galaxy. And so, with the light of the stars shining down, humanity's true journey had only just begun.